My name's Roy. I'm 38 years old, and I need to say something that's been burning in my chest for a long time. This is about the 4 signs that tell you a man truly loves you. Not says he loves you, not texts it when he's lonely, not whispers it when he wants something from you. I'm talking about real love. And yeah, number 2 and number 4 are going to shock you because most people don't want to hear the truth. They want comfort. They want lies that feel good. Before I go any further, if you're tired of being confused, if you're tired of guessing, if you're tired of loving harder than you're loved back, then like this video, subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from, because I know I'm not the only one who's lived through this kind of pain. Now listen to me carefully. A man can look at you and say, "I love you," with a straight face and still not mean a damn thing. Words are cheap. They always have been. Men learn early how to talk, how to charm, how to promise, how to say what a woman wants to hear just to keep her close enough. Love is not in the lips. Love is in what a man does when it costs him something. I don't care how attractive he is. I don't care how confident he sounds. I don't care how much money he flashes or how good he looks standing next to you. None of that means love. If you've ever cried yourself to sleep while the man you love slept peacefully, then you already know what I'm talking about. So let me break this down the real way. There are 4 signs, not theories, not fairy tales, not Instagram quotes. 4 real signs. And the first one is this. When a man truly loves you, he puts your happiness above his ego. And let me tell you something, that is not natural for men. Men are raised to win, to be right, to dominate, to stand their ground, to never back down. From the time we're boys, we're taught that giving in is weakness, that apologizing means you lost, that changing your mind makes you soft. So when you see a man who is willing to set that aside for you, you are not looking at weakness, you are looking at growth. A man who loves you will stop in the middle of an argument even when he knows he's right. He'll stop while his heart is racing, while his pride is screaming, while every instinct in him wants to win. And instead, he'll say, "I hear you." Not because he's scared of you, not because you yelled louder, but because keeping you matters more than being right. That right there, that's love. If a man would rather prove a point than protect your peace, he does not love you. I don't care how long you've been together. I don't care how many memories you share. If his ego always comes first, you will always come second. A man in love is not trying to defeat you. He's trying to build with you. And when he hurts you, and he will because men are flawed, he doesn't disappear. He doesn't punish you with silence. He doesn't let days go by while you sit there wondering what you did wrong. He circles back. He checks on you. He owns his mistakes. That's not softness. That's commitment. That's a man who understands that love is not about winning moments. It's about winning a future. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. The second sign. And this one messes people up. When a man truly loves you, he listens to what you don't say. Anybody can hear words, that's easy, but hearing silence, that takes presence. A man who loves you notices the shift, the quiet, the way your energy changes when you walk into a room. He notices when your smile doesn't reach your eyes, when your voice is softer than usual. You say, "I'm fine," but he knows you're not. And instead of brushing it off, instead of saying okay and going back to his phone, he leans in. He asks questions. He pauses. He pays attention because he's connected to you. That kind of awareness cannot be faked. You don't accidentally care like that. You don't accidentally notice emotional details. If a man only shows up when you're loud but disappears when you're quiet, that man is not in love with you. He's comfortable with you. And there is a difference. A man who loves you doesn't wait for you to break down before he shows up. He meets you before the storm. He reads your eyes, your tone, your silence, because your heart matters to him. And let me tell you something painful. If you have to beg a man to notice you, if you have to explain your emotions over and over, if you're constantly teaching him how to care, he does not love you the way you deserve to be loved. And that truth hurts. I know it does. Because people stay in relationships like that for years, hoping one day the man will wake up and suddenly see them. But love doesn't need instructions. Now let me move to the third sign. When a man truly loves you, he brings you into his world. Not halfway, not secretly, not when it's convenient. Fully. You meet the people who matter to him. Not just friends he barely talks to. I mean his real circle, his family, his people, the ones who shaped him. You don't feel like a guest in his life. You feel like part of the blueprint. If a man keeps you hidden, it's not because he's private. It's because he's unsure. A man in love is proud. He wants people to know who you are. He speaks your name when you're not in the room. He defends you when you're not there to hear it. He doesn't make you feel like you're asking for too much just to be included. He makes room for you naturally. And if you've ever loved someone who kept you in the shadows, if you've ever felt like you were being compartmentalized, then you know how lonely that feels. Love does not make you feel hidden. Love brings you into the light. Now brace yourself, because the fourth sign, this is the one that breaks hearts. When a man truly loves you, he becomes consistent. Not excited, not intense, consistent. Anyone can be amazing in the beginning. Anyone can send good morning texts for a few weeks. Anyone can show up when they're trying to impress you. Love shows up after the excitement fades, when life gets heavy, when stress hits, when routine sets in. A man who loves you does not disappear when things get hard. He does not pull away when you need him emotionally. He does not suddenly change when you get attached. He stays. He calls when he says he will. He shows up when he promises to. He makes plans and keeps them. Not because he has to, but because he wants to. Consistency is not boring. Consistency is safety. And if you've ever been with someone inconsistent, you know how much damage that does to your mind. The anxiety, the second guessing, the waiting. That is not love. That is emotional instability. A man who loves you gives you peace, not confusion. And along with consistency comes sacrifice, quiet sacrifice. Not the kind that needs applause, not the kind posted online, the kind you don't even notice at first. He gives up time, sleep, comfort, options. He chooses you even when it costs him something. And he doesn't keep score, because loving you is the reward. If a man only shows up when it benefits him, if he only sacrifices when he gets something back, that is not love. That is a transaction. And love is not transactional. A man who loves you protects you, not just physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. He shields your peace. He stands between you and chaos. He won't let people disrespect you. He won't let you tear yourself down. He covers you. And if you're listening to this right now, feeling that sting in your chest, if you're realizing you've been loving someone who doesn't do these things, I need you to hear me. You are not asking for too much. You are asking the wrong person. I know that feeling, that tightness in your chest when you realize you're loving someone who only shows up halfway. That quiet anger you swallow every day just to keep the peace. That voice in your head that keeps asking, am I asking for too much? And I'm here to tell you something straight, even if it hurts. You're not crazy. You're not needy. You're not difficult. You're just tired of loving alone. Let me go deeper because a lot of people hear these signs and still miss them in real life. A man who truly loves you doesn't just put his ego aside once. He does it over and over again. He doesn't weaponize your mistakes against you. He doesn't bring up old arguments just to win a new one. He doesn't throw your vulnerabilities back into your face when he's angry. Because when a man loves you, he protects your heart even when he's upset. And that's rare. Most people don't know how to argue with love. They argue to dominate, to hurt, to feel powerful. But a man who loves you understands that every harsh word leaves a scar. So he chooses his words carefully, even when his emotions are loud. And let me be clear, this does not mean he never gets angry. It does not mean he never messes up. It means he cares enough to repair. If a man can hurt you and sleep peacefully without checking on you, without apologizing, without making things right, that man is not in love with you. Love does not ignore damage. Now let me come back to that second sign again, because this is where so many people get stuck. Listening to what you don't say. You see, emotional presence is not about grand gestures. It's about awareness. A man who loves you notices when you stop asking for things, when you stop complaining, when you stop explaining yourself. And instead of feeling relieved, he gets concerned. Because silence is not peace. Silence is often exhaustion. When you stop speaking, it's usually because you've already said everything you needed to say and nothing changed. A man who loves you doesn't wait until you emotionally shut down before he reacts. He doesn't dismiss your feelings as drama. He doesn't tell you you're too sensitive. He understands that emotions are not problems to fix, they're signals to respect. If you're constantly minimizing your feelings just to keep a man comfortable, that relationship is costing you too much. Love should never require you to disappear. Now listen closely to this part. A man who loves you brings you into his world not because he has to, but because he wants to. You don't have to ask to meet his people. You don't have to wonder where you stand. You don't have to question whether you're temporary. He makes it clear. And if a man tells you, "I'm not ready," but continues to benefit from your love, your time, your body, your emotional support, what he's really saying is, "I'm not ready to choose you." And that hurts. Because hope is a dangerous thing. Hope keeps people waiting in situations that are slowly breaking them. Love does not keep you waiting in uncertainty. A man who loves you knows where you stand because he put you there. Now let's talk about consistency again, because this is where illusion finally dies. Consistency is not perfection, it's reliability. It's knowing that his behavior tomorrow will look like his behavior today. It's not wondering which version of him you're going to get, the loving one, the distant one, the cold one. Inconsistent love keeps you addicted to potential. Consistent love gives you reality, and reality is safer. A man who loves you doesn't punish you by withdrawing affection. He doesn't make you chase him. He doesn't make you earn basic respect. He understands that love grows in security, not fear. And sacrifice, let's be honest about sacrifice. A lot of men say they would do anything for you, but love is proven in the small moments, when he chooses to be there instead of somewhere else, when he chooses your peace over his convenience, when he adjusts his life instead of expecting you to adjust yours every time. If a man loves you, you don't feel like you're constantly compromising yourself to fit into his life. He makes room. And protection is not control. Protection is care. A man who loves you doesn't try to own you. He tries to guard you. He guards your reputation, your feelings, your mental health. He doesn't let people disrespect you even when you're not around. He doesn't let you talk down on yourself without correcting you. Because when he loves you, your well-being becomes personal to him. Now let me say something that's going to hurt some people. If you're with a man who only shows up when you're happy but disappears when you're struggling, he does not love you. He loves how you make him feel. And that difference matters. Love stays when life gets ugly, when emotions are messy, when things aren't easy. If you're carrying the emotional weight of the relationship alone, that relationship is already failing. And I know some of you listening right now are thinking about someone specific, someone you've defended, someone you've made excuses for, someone you've waited on. And I need you to hear me clearly. Waiting for someone to love you the right way is not loyalty, it's self-abandonment. Love does not require you to shrink. Love does not require you to suffer quietly. Love does not leave you guessing. A man who loves you makes you feel safe, not anxious, not insecure, not confused. And if you've never felt that kind of safety before, it can feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, because chaos becomes familiar when it's all you've known. But love is calm, steady, present. And if you're realizing that the man you're with doesn't meet these signs, that doesn't mean you failed. It means you learned. And learning hurts, but it also frees you. Because once you know what love looks like, you can no longer pretend confusion is affection. And I'm not saying leave today. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you the truth. Love should not drain you. It should restore you. And if you're the only one fighting to keep the relationship alive, then the relationship is already dying. My name is Roy. I'm 38 years old, and this is where it gets uncomfortable, because this is where I stop talking about men and start talking about why people stay. Because knowing the signs of real love means nothing if you keep choosing what hurts you. Let me tell you the truth most people don't want to hear. People don't stay in loveless relationships because they're stupid. They stay because they're attached, because they're afraid, because they're hoping the version of the person they met in the beginning will come back. And that hope will break you if you let it. I've watched people stay loyal to potential instead of reality. I've watched people explain away disrespect because he's trying. I've watched people accept breadcrumbs because they're afraid of emptiness. And maybe that's you right now. Maybe you're listening to this with someone's name in your head. Someone who gives you just enough to stay, but never enough to feel secure. Someone who disappears when things get serious. Someone who loves you only when it's easy. And you keep telling yourself, he's just stressed. He's been hurt before. He doesn't know how to love. Let me say this clearly. Understanding someone's wounds does not obligate you to bleed for them. A man's past is not an excuse to mistreat you in the present. If a man truly loves you, his trauma does not become your prison. And here's the part nobody prepares you for. Sometimes people stay because pain feels familiar. Chaos feels normal when peace feels unfamiliar. When you grew up having to earn love, when affection was inconsistent, when attention came and went, your nervous system confuses intensity with intimacy. You mistake anxiety for passion. You mistake inconsistency for excitement. You mistake longing for love. And real love feels boring at first. Not because it lacks depth, but because it lacks chaos. Real love doesn't make your stomach hurt. It doesn't keep you guessing. It doesn't leave you checking your phone every 5 minutes. Real love is calm. And if you're not used to calm, calm feels wrong. So you go back to what hurts you because at least it's familiar. But familiarity is not compatibility. And love is not supposed to hurt like this. A man who loves you does not make you question your worth. He doesn't make you feel disposable. He doesn't make you feel like you're asking for too much when you're asking for basic respect. If you're constantly fighting for clarity, you're with someone who benefits from confusion. Confusion keeps you quiet. Confusion keeps you waiting. Confusion keeps you hoping. Love is clear. A man who loves you does not enjoy watching you suffer. He doesn't enjoy your tears. He doesn't enjoy your insecurity. If he sees you hurting and does nothing, that is not love. That is indifference. And indifference is colder than hate. Now let me talk to the ones who are angry, because anger is grief with nowhere to go. You're angry because you gave your all. You're angry because you stayed when you should have left. You're angry because you saw the red flags and ignored them. But listen to me. You were not foolish for loving deeply. You were honest. The mistake was not loving. The mistake was staying when love was not returned. And that doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Now let's move into the hardest truth of all. Sometimes a man knows exactly what he's doing. Sometimes he knows he can't love you the way you deserve, but he keeps you anyway. Because you're comforting, because you're loyal, because you make his life easier. And that's not confusion. That's selfishness. If a man truly loved you, he would not keep you in a place where you're constantly hurting. Love does not benefit at the expense of your peace. Now, this is where people get defensive. They say, but he says he loves me. Words without consistency are manipulation. Love is proven over time, in effort, in sacrifice, in presence, not in apologies that lead nowhere, not in promises that expire. And if you're listening to this realizing you've been holding on to someone who doesn't meet these signs, I know it hurts. Because letting go means grieving not just the person, but the future you imagined with them. You're not just losing who they are, you're losing who you hoped they would become. And not grief is real. Now, listen to me carefully. You cannot force someone to love you correctly. You can communicate, you can be patient, you can try, but you cannot teach someone to value you. Love is a choice, and not everyone chooses you even if they enjoy you. And you deserve to be chosen every day. Now I'm going to move into something even deeper, because part 4 is not just about signs. It's about what real love feels like when you finally experience it. And some of you have never felt that before. So let me paint it for you. Real love feels safe. You don't feel like you're walking on eggshells. You don't feel like one wrong word will push him away. You don't feel like you have to perform to keep his attention. You can be tired. You can be emotional. You can be quiet. And he stays. You don't have to chase reassurance. You don't have to decode mixed signals. You don't have to beg for effort, because it's already there. A man who loves you gives you peace. And peace is not loud. It doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with reliability, with showing up, with follow-through. He remembers what matters to you. He notices when you're off. He adjusts his life to include you. Not because you demanded it, but because he wants you there. In sacrifice, let me say this again because it matters. A man who loves you sacrifices quietly. He doesn't announce it. He doesn't use it against you later. He doesn't keep score. He gives because he wants to see you okay. And that kind of love is rare because it requires maturity, emotional responsibility, selflessness. Most people are not capable of it, and that's why so many people settle. They confuse attachment for love, comfort for commitment, consistency for obligation, but real love is intentional. And if you've never experienced that, I need you to hear this. You are not broken because you haven't been loved right yet. You just haven't met someone capable, and that's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their limitations. So if you're sitting there right now, heart heavy, eyes tired, I need you to stop blaming yourself for wanting more. Wanting peace is not asking for too much. Wanting consistency is not demanding perfection. Wanting effort is not being needy. It's being human. And the moment you stop accepting confusion as love is the moment your life starts changing. Because clarity always follows courage. And love, real love, never asks you to betray yourself. If this hit you, if this hurt in a way that felt familiar, like the video, subscribe, and tell me where you're watching from, because you're not alone, and you never were. And I promise you this, the right kind of love will never make you question whether you matter. It will show you every single day.